Welcome to Tarot Q&A Tuesday. Here we are with the beautiful new deck of tarot. I'm loving this at the moment, so we're going to roll with this today. And as usual, we'll begin with some sent-in questions, and then we're going to launch into a collective consciousness reading. Now, I feel very called today to do a quite significant reading for the group. Oh, there you go. Spreading showers over you as well. If you do have a question and you're on Zoom or YouTube, you can punch it into the questions for next week, or you can send it to me at fiona@sirensoul.com. Up to you. Anyway, without further ado, we are going to tune into the first person, who is Leah. Leah was last on the list last week, so we're going to give her the first up, and her question is, should I attend a work conference or my friend's 50th? Both require travel in May and June. Realistically, I may struggle to financially do both, or do either, but I'm determined to try. 50th or a work conference. Now guys, I always like to give a little personal tip, a little bit of words of wisdom that the tarot shares without the cards being the one we pull. Meaning, the tarot is full of wisdom. It is a journey through our life experiences as a soul if we choose to grow and evolve. And therefore, one of the great messages is to really learn how to listen to our inner truth and get a lot of the answers for ourselves. Now, the tarot is awesome for helping us along the way, but if we can simultaneously do things and progress our individual self as well, like through finding stillness to listen to our intuition more easily, etc., then we don't need to find ourselves at such confusing crossroads like Leah is at the moment. What should I do? I've got all these decisions and these complicated scenarios around it. First of all, focus on what you want. What does your heart light up? And what makes your heart light up? Like, is it the 50th? Is it a conference? Is it both? First of all, we get really clear. Do you want to attend either of these? And then focus on what you want rather than considering the lack of money that your situation is at the moment. Get excited about the idea of doing things and be in the abundant mindset, because when we're in lack energy, we just don't really enjoy our days. But it is actually possible to enjoy our days no matter what's going on in our life, surprisingly, because we get to choose our thoughts, right? And our thoughts affect our emotions, and our emotions are how we feel, and how we feel is how we enjoy life. So when people say you create your life reality or your life experience, it is all about how we choose to think about it. That's it. It's not that we choose whether we have an annoying person come in or we lose a job. It's all about how we react. So I don't know where that just came from, but flew out of the mouth, so we're going to roll with that. With Leah, the first question is, where are we going with this? I'm going to pull a random card first before we even get to the specific questions. This is just what I'm getting. I just need to feel overall, because it feels to me like a bit of a kerfuffle going on in decision making in your head at this time. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles. Now, the first thing that jumps to my gut instinct on this is the focus needs to be on the business, on really getting the groundwork done for launching ahead on that financial area, the money being the pentacles. Also, though, just life itself on a grounded level. Now, what this means is practically getting a business strategy in place, a business plan. I really feel that even though this isn't specific to your question, that this groundwork, this foundation, it's like building a house without a concrete foundation sturdy in the ground. I don't know if you've got a business plan, but it feels like you don't. And when I say business plan, it doesn't have to be with all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. It simply needs to be like a dream for your business and a progress of how you see yourself unfolding that, which interestingly enough goes against the grain of other things I teach, because sometimes we have to be able to go with the flow of what presents. But I feel you're really stuck in the minute of every day rather than being able to look more broad spectrum. Now, talking about the 50th, let's just go, will you make it to the 50th? And is it even important that you get to this 50th? Will you make it to this 50th that you talk about? This is about Leah. And the other work conference, what's the feeling around this? What conference is this correct for this? Okay, this is a complex couple of cards for what we've asked. I've got the Hanged Man in reference to should you go to the 50th, which generally is looking at the situation from a different perspective. And for the other option, which is the work conference, it's not coming up as strong because it feels to me that when it comes to the work conference, it's kind of just adding more information to what you've got and creating more balls to juggle. Like, it's almost like just really polish up what's already there and stop looking outside of the current situation for more excitement and opportunities and how can I get this and grab that from the outside, but come within and really seek into what brings you the most joy in your business and how can you genuinely activate new customers to come to that aspect of what you do. If you're not Leah and you're watching this, it's going to sound so confusing. But let's give it an overview because it's got quite a good message for everybody. Beginning with, let's remember in life to get our groundwork settled before we make any decisions about other things. Quite often we all have too much going on, too many different stresses. We need to have this base, even if it's just a really secure home environment or we've got a structure in our routine of day-to-day life, or we have a budget that we work to, something that gives us a base, a solid area to work from, and then we can launch everything off that. Otherwise, it's like the house that was built on sand and everything just constantly feels a bit all over the show. So number one, get grounded and get a clear plan or structure that allows you to stay in balance more often, whether that's financially, emotionally, or other. And then the second thing is to feel into your heart when you're making a decision. Do you even want to take that course or to go to that party? First of all, get a sign from your heart. Is it a yes, yeah, or I don't know? Those are your answers. We don't need to intellectually make all these decisions. And then the third part of this equation for Leah was to stop seeking outside of herself for more that she can add to the business, but really polish up what is already there and focus on the areas that make her heart sing. All right, so hopefully that made sense to everyone because it was a big, long way to get around it. We're going to launch straight into Michelle's question. Michelle, did you ask a question? Yes, you did ask a question because she's turned up today. So we will get into that and I'll find it here. Is it time to let go of my current mode of transport, which I love, or shall I hold on to it for another year? Well, interesting, falling off the last question. You love it, so why would you let go of it? Can you answer that question in the chat? Michelle, is it time I've just asked yes, no. It doesn't feel like it's time to let go of it at all. And it does feel like an unusual time to let go of it, considering that your life is moving overseas and holidays and things like that, that really your mode of transport, I'm assuming this is a car of sorts. If it's not, let me know. It's not really a priority right now. You know, like you've got other things and you've got other things to put your focus in that are more important. It's a constant list of priorities, isn't it? Always seeing your to-do list as what is the most important and urgent, as well as having your heartfelt list that makes sure that you're tapping into fun and joy at the same time. Because that should always be a top priority. Because if we're not feeling joy and fun, then everything is hard. So if we've got to enter that, we've got to add that into our daily routine. touching on the inner child stuff a little bit that we worked on last night. Which actually leads me to Jess's question, because she has actually asked, what does her inner child need to know right now? Now, for those of you who weren't in the Cosmic Consulting class, we did a beautiful inner child reconnection journey, like a healing, about how you can use your ability to tap into the inner child, your own inner child, yourself, and really use that to create less resistance, so create more flow. That means to help us to stop reacting badly, stop triggering, stop getting frustrated, start focusing on what we want and not what we don't want, and allow our life to more easily flow. It's a myth to think you have to work hard for success. It's an old limiting belief that was created from our society, and therefore that's just an easy example of how we can. Our inner child has its own level of conditioning from early years of our life. And whilst that can cause us all sorts of emotions in our adulthood, from anxiety through to anger issues and the likes, I've talked about this to my Cosmic Consulting class before, meaning that it's very aligned with the subconscious limiting beliefs in respect to how we play out our life with an unheard inner child and a stuck limiting belief. But ultimately it's the same thing in the result of our human experience in this now moment. How to clear the blocks is why you would even look into this. We want to know how to clear the stuff that's stopping us from feeling our most joy and having our greatest success. We are actually a blueprint for optimum health and huge success, abundance, and loving relationships. That's the human blueprint. That's who we are naturally. So anything that falls off that blueprint, that doesn't align with that feel-good energy, is an opportunity to up-level our human profile. In other words, it is also an issue that we could deal with. If we're not feeling optimum health, we're not having success in our lives, we're not having loving relationships, we're not happy, we are out of alignment with who we actually are, the actual blueprint of our truth. That's what we came here as, and we only obscure our experience of ourselves. It's just an illusion through our conditioning or through our unmet childhood needs, now inner child work to do, and other shadow work that can help us to come back to more of a pure blueprint, a pristine version of your blueprint where you are just pure radiant light. Yeah, there you go. You weren't expecting that today, were you? Let's do the collective consciousness card now, since we've raved on about that kind of topic of oneness and being centered with yourself, being grounded with your humanness and centered and aligned with your soul. Okay, what do we need to hear right now as a group? What is the great message that needs to come through for all of us to just have a little bit more inspiration in life? First card I've pulled is the Death card. This is all about rebirth. This is new beginnings. This is specifically actually about stripping the layers of the ego and finding your authentic self, which is exactly what we're just talking about. I'm not even joking. This card is literally helping us to shed the old ego and come into our authenticity, our truth, our absolute light. So it's pretty much the same story I just said without pulling the card. Oh my God, I'm amazing. In the other tarot deck, in the Rider-Waite deck, this card is represented by a skeleton, and she is the authentic self. And although that's not how we'd look at it in human terms, it's a symbol for that. In this particular version, it's actually more accurate to how I see it. If you look closely, you can see the shining light that's coming through behind the cape. The cloak is that this red cape, which is basically our desires and our ego and our material wants and needs. And what it says is just get rid of the cape, lose the cape, and then what you're left with is this light. So lose those limiting beliefs, lose that structure that we've learned to live by, and start just feeling inside who we truly are. Who are we? Who are we, guys? Who are we? We're love. We are light. We are divine love energy. We are the universe. That's the truth. We are an extension of source energy. We are an extension of the universe. And I'm just looking at the notes, the chat. Jess says, did I miss my card being pulled, or are you coming back to me? Maybe my internet dropped out. Actually, did I pull the card? I think you're right. I think I missed your card. I got too busy chatting. So your question was, what does your inner child need to hear right now? Thank you for pulling me up while I was on a roll. We're going to just tap into Jess's energy. It's not the first time I've done that, is it? Sometimes we just get carried away. What is Jess's inner child calling out for Jess today? While you can do meditations and visualizations to help yourself to tap into this more clearly, we are doing tarot for a bit of fun, so you can use that as well. I've pulled the Eight of Cups, Jess. Now this implies walking away from something with the feeling inside that there is more for you. So that's kind of working on the inner child itself. So we'll want a step more for you. We need to know what is it that you're choosing to let go of so that you can step into more. The feeling someone has when they pull this card generally is something along the lines of, is this it? I know this is good, but I feel there's something missing. That's the kind of feeling that we have when we pull that card. So it's really just a clarifying piece of information, especially if it's the tarot reader as opposed to you pulling your own cards. And then what we want to know is, where are you moving to? Where are you moving to? What are you letting go? What are you letting go of? What are you letting go of? What are you letting go of is what we're finding for you. What is the thing you feel you need to let go of at this time? Okay. Sorry, Jess. I'm just getting clarity on how to read this card, because what it is, it's the King of Wands. No, it's not. It's the Knight of Wands. And this is we tap into the court cards, the Knight, the Page, the King, the Queen, and we want to know, is this you? Are you angling to find aspects of you within this card, or is this a character entering your life that you need to be aware of? Is it another person that's relevant? So my feeling is that I'd say my first instinct is if there is a man floating around that is in and out and not really a relationship, it may be that I'm trying to work out whether it's a person or the attachment to the idea of the person. That doesn't mean you let go of the idea of having a partner. What it means is you want to let go of the attachment to needing that to feel fulfilled. And can we give you some more assistance to that? Do you see the difference? It's okay to be excited about having a new relationship in your life at some point soon, whoever you are watching this. However, if it's a need and it's a lack in our life that we feel we need until we can feel that inner fulfillment, that love within us, that's where the issue is. That's where the opportunity is, to look at your inner child and ask your inner child, why? What is it that you think you're going to get that you don't have now? What is it that you really are craving on a deeper level? And then have a wee chat to your inner child about how you can have that in your life now. It's about coming into that inner fulfillment first and then letting that abundance and love and success and health and joy and all the other good stuff come naturally. Is there more for Jess? There is a little bit more for this actually. Jess, if you're there, is it a person or an attachment? Is it a person or an attachment to the idea? And I've just got the same story again. This is the 9 of Wands, which is generally a person who has... The story of this card is you've been to battle and it's been a hard road in one way or another. And you kind of like going, oh my goodness, is it worth one last chance? Do I give it another chance? Or do I give it another chance? Or is it going to come together in the 11th hour? I'm exhausted from this. I just want it to be finished. And of course, after the 9 of Wands in the tarot, you get the 10 of Wands, which is a completion, but it's also a lot of weight on the shoulders, which means we have to surrender and let that go at some point. Otherwise, we're going to accumulate the stress more and more on top of the old stress. Is it, I think, the attachment to the idea, she says, Jess just says, I think it's the attachment. Is there a guy floating? No. Attachment. So you can actually literally do visualizations where you create the attachment as a thing, an ethereal piece of energy, a concept. It doesn't have to be a hard, solid object. And you see a cord between the attachment and yourself. And you consciously choose to cut the cord, let it go, see it fly away, and choose to fill your own heart with happiness and joy and love and light. It's just a conscious decision. Because all you need to do, really, to transform the limited beliefs, all you need to do, I know it's a lot of work in some areas, but really what we need to do is become aware of the origin of that. We need to know where it began so that we can literally chop it, as you know. But when we just become aware of the belief, the story, we can see how we could have accumulated that concept or that story, how we could have created that way of living life. Whereas if you don't always have to go back to the details, whilst that can be extremely healing, like we do in the Conscious Creation Code. You just need to kind of have an understanding of, I was kind of taught that because my family was like this, or my family worked hard, or they weren't very communicative, or they, have these other underlying reasons that we play out these needs to have something, rather than this simple experience of what is. Holy tamale. I just feel like my words are a kerfuddle today. Oh, what is going on? Crazy energy. Let's read Jeremy's question. I hope that's good enough for you there, Missy. Let me know in the chat. Jeremy, is there a possibility of a relationship with the woman in Sydney? We just want a yes-no question. We're going to get into Jeremy's energy. Jeremy, is this worth your time? Will you have a connection? Is there a connection? Is this an opportunity for future love? Or even, no, let's not ask that. Let's just ask if there's an opportunity for a positive connection that could be beneficial for you. Right. Getting there. We want a yes-no question. Is this relationship with the woman in Sydney worth pursuing for Jeremy? Hell yeah! The Strength card. It's a thumbs up yes. It's a beautiful card. It's just a yes. We're going to stop there. We're not going to go into the details. You can explore that for yourself and come back for the second round. Jess, Jeremy, Leah, Stephanie. Will I get the rental I've applied for? There was loads of people interested in taking the place. All right, let's have a look. Just another yes/no question, and then we'll have a bit more of a chat about the collective messages. It's looking very promising. I've got the Ace of Wands. Feels like the start of something, and this implies creativity and passion as well. I'm just going to go yes. Yes, we hope you get that property. Feels good. And is there a possibility that if you don't, there's something else? Why are you even checking? Yeah, new beginnings. New beginnings. It's all about new beginnings for you. Absolutely a positive outcome in the cards today for you. Right, because I feel like I have been a dribbling of information today, I'd like to just go into this slightly more grounded. Taking my time. If you guys are done, that's fine, you can leave, but I just want to work with this on a slightly different level for everybody that needs to get some redirection in their life. Or, as I said, inspiration. There's another word I'm searching for. Probably come in the card. Confirmation, maybe? It's really important in all aspects of living our life to come into our own personal royalty, our sovereignty. Call it being a king, call it feeling your queendom energy or being a goddess. This information here is really crucial to remembering that if you are in your personal confidence and power, all of life's decisions and reactions are just more relaxed and easy to choose. Like the decisions are easy to make and reactions to stress are just minimal because you just, hey, this reminds us of Cosmic Consulting last night. You just know that it is what it is and you don't react to the drama. When we come into our heart as the King of Wands in this card to tell the story, we're coming into what lights our fire inside. You can see the fire in this card lit on the King's, what do you call that? Staff, you know, wand. And it's all about following your bliss as far as being on the path to your greatness. But what most people do is they don't sit in their queendom or kingdom. They sit in the race, the survival mode to get what they need to do. If you just come into your empowerment first, this is a little bit like Leah's card. Come into that groundedness. Get the structure in place so that you are sturdy in your queendom energy, in your kingdom energy, in the house you've built, in the job you've started, in the career, in the new business, whatever it is. Come into that essence of strength first, not surviving first. And when you sit there, everything is so much easier. And this is the message that is so misunderstood. It sounds so basic because people are scared to follow their heart. They're scared to follow the fire inside because they're logically thinking they need to survive in this world. And that is true, but you have to trust that you will survive more so in a more abundant manner with more happiness if you start at the core first. Find yourself first, find your place in the world, and live happily ever after. That's the message for the day.